Coming up on State of Events, massive fires and PG&E mandated power outages have caused hundreds of thousands of Northern Californians to evacuate. Dylan Sutherland has the latest.
Chicago teacher strike has gone over a week. Find out if school is back in session for students in Chicago's public schools.
And State of Events starts now. Welcome to State of Events. I'm Graham Muckenfoos.
And I'm Natasha Casino. Let's get down to our top story for this week. Over 100,000 people have had to evacuate Sonoma County due to the Kincade fires. One of state's electric public utilities, PG&E, shut off power for millions of customers throughout Northern California. Dylan Sutherland has the latest on the fires and power shutoff. Dylan?
California is no stranger to fires, but the past few years have proven to be particularly deadly and difficult due to climate change. With conditions worsening again this year, many residents are facing the possibility that they could lose their homes.
Last year, California saw both the biggest wildfire in its history, spanning almost 460,000 acres, and the deadliest fire in its history, the Camp Fire, in which 86 people lost their lives. Now, once again, Californians are feeling the heat as the Kincade, Tick, Getty, and several other fires continue to rage across the state. The fires this week have been propelled by a recent heat wave and high wind events, making it difficult for firefighters to manage the blazes. Now they are scrambling in preparation to contain these fires as much as possible before the winds pick up tonight, as gusts are expected to top out at 60 to 75 miles per hour across California. PG&E is facing major backlash from residents as evidence shows that outdated and poorly maintained equipment has been the culprit in up to 1,500 fires statewide. This includes the Thomas Fire, the Camp Fire, and the 2010 San Bruno gas explosion that killed 8 and injured 58. Recently, as close to 2 million PG&E customers in Northern California have had to endure planned blackouts in a desperate bid to stop these fires from igniting and spreading. Despite the blackouts, PG&E did not prevent the Kincade Fire, which PG&E itself says appears to have been started at a high-voltage transmission tower that was not turned off. Though the contract given to PG&E by the state requires the company to maintain above-ground power lines, much of the infrastructure these lines use is over 100 years old, and the average tower which holds the lines overhead is 68 years old. The company has come under further scrutiny as $5 billion, originally earmarked for infrastructure repairs, has been distributed to shareholders. The CEO for PG&E has said that planned blackouts during high wind events may become the new normal for Northern Californians over the next 10 years, as that is how long it will take them to update their infrastructure.
As blackouts become more common, there's a few things you can do to be prepared in the future. Stock non-perishable foods you can prepare without power, get solar or other non-wire powered device chargers, and keep a jerry can with fuel in case local gas stations are without power. Back to you at the desk.
The tension continues to build over the impeachment inquiry of President Donald Trump last week as Republicans barged in on a closed-door impeachment hearing. Take a listen.
I'm gathered here with dozens of my congressional colleagues underground in the basement of the Capitol, because if behind those doors they intend to overturn the results of an American presidential election, we want to know what's going on. We're going to go and see if we can get inside. So let's see if we can get in.
Congressman, do you have any questions?
We're going in.
Congressman, any questions?
Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz and leader of this event described the reasons for this delay were because of the unfair due process of President Trump and the lack of access to these hearings by Republicans. These reasonings have left Democrats to believe this is nothing more than a stunt to delay the impeachment process. Many of the Republicans involved in the sit-in were supposed to have participated in the hearings. These actions delayed testimonies from Pentagon official Laura Cooper just one day after Ambassador Bill Taylor gave a potentially damaging testimony where Taylor cited his detailed notes revealing evidence of a quid pro quo to Ukraine's president for President Trump's political gain.
Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg testified on Capitol Hill on Wednesday. The hearing was set to discuss the social media platforms' control over their fact-checking when it comes to their ads on social media. But Zuckerberg ended up being pressed over their regulation on political ads as a whole.
It was a grueling 6 hours of questioning as Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg faced backlash from lawmakers on Capitol Hill over the social media's new political advertising policy.
You announced that Facebook would not be doing fact-checking on political ads, giving anyone Facebook labels a politician a platform to lie, mislead, and misform the American people.
Would I be able to run advertisements on Facebook targeting Republicans in primaries saying that they voted for the Green New Deal?
I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head. I think
So you don't know if I'll be able to do that?
I think probably.
Facebook says they rely on third-party fact-checkers and does not check their own political ads.
Do you see a potential problem here with a complete lack of fact-checking on political advertisements? So you won't take down lies or you will take down lies? I think it's just a pretty simple yes or no.
Congresswoman,
I'm not talking about spin. I'm talking about actual
yes, in most cases,
disinformation.
in a democracy,
Okay.
I believe that people should be able to see for themselves what politicians that they may or may not vote for
So
are
you
saying,
won't take
judge
them
their
down.
character for themselves.
So you won't take, you may flag that it's wrong, but you won't take it down.
Lawmakers continue to grow the social media icon over the company's lack of accountability and their handling of the election interference and data privacy.
Fakes are clearly one of the emerging threats that we need to get in front of and develop policy around to address.
Reporting in San Francisco, I'm Jennifer Rios for State of Events.
An update from the UK on Brexit happened yesterday as Parliament has asked for an extension on their withdrawal from the European Union. The UK voted in a general election back in June of 2016 to leave the EU, but over 3 years later still have not come to a consensus on how to do so. The Conservative Prime Minister Boris Johnson has been saying they were going to pull out of the EU on October 31st with or without a deal. But Parliament has now asked for a so-called flextension until the end of January and are now attempting to trigger an early election in mid-December if Parliament still hasn't reached a compromise. Opposition to this election came from the central leftist Labour Party as they noted that the election date would make voting difficult for students out on their winter break, therefore helping the right-wing Conservative Party gain more seats in Parliament, making Brexit easier for them on their terms. Some of the U.S. forces that carried out the operation that killed IS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi originated from various locations inside Iraq via helicopters. Mark Esper, Secretary of Defense, thanks service members for the al-Baghdadi raid.
I want to thank our brave service members who took part in this daring raid, along with our interagency partners who supported the mission. There is no guarantee of success in an operation with this level of difficulty, and President Trump knew this when he made the bold decision to order the raid, confident in the expertise of our forces. Our service members conducted themselves with incredible skill and professionalism, and they executed the raid in all of its facets brilliantly. Not a single United States service member was killed in this high-risk operation.
The U.S. has confirmed the largest troop withdrawal in Syria. It marks the symbolic end of the major U.S. president's presence in the region. U.S. Secretary of Defense Mark Esper has said the withdrawal would take weeks. President Trump's decision to pull American forces out of Syria has resulted in the Turkish military continuing to launch attacks. The Secretary of Defense said on Sunday that the U.S. brokered ceasefire in northern Syria generally seems to be holding. However, the Syrian Defense Force says Turkish forces and their allies continue to launch attacks on Syrian villages despite agreeing to a ceasefire. Recently, one Turkish soldier was reportedly killed and 5 others were wounded by Kurdish forces as the truce continues to show instability.
Massive protests continued in the Chilean capital of Santiago on Monday, hours after President Sebastián Pinera named new members of the cabinet. Police fired water cannons at protesters in Santiago, Chile, during a massive march. Chilean protesters were walking towards the presidential palace of La Moneda. Chile is entering its second week of civil unrest after the government announced a public transportation fare hike, which has now been canceled as a result of the protests. So far, at least 20 people have died in this turbulent event. Monday's march comes hours after the Chilean president lifted the state of emergency that had been set in several regions of the country. San Francisco candidates are in the final stretch as the 2019 election day approaches. Elections take place on November 5th. Here are some key races to look at. San Francisco's Mayor London Breed is expected to get re-elected to another 4 years. Breed is finishing the remainder of the late Mayor Ed Lee's term after his passing in 2017. In the race for district attorney, 4 candidates are running for the seat of Attorney General George Gascon, who decided last year not to run for re-election. The candidates are Chesa Boudin, a public defender, Leif Douch, former president of San Francisco's Juvenile Probation Commission, Susie Loftus, a lawyer in the Sheriff's Department, and Nancy Tung, a former prosecutor in the city's district attorney's office. Once again, elections will take place on November 5th, so make sure you get out and vote if you can.
President Donald Trump got a mixed reaction from the crowd at Game 5 of the World Series. The president showed up after the first inning at Nationals Park. He and the First Lady, Melania Trump, were introduced by the Washington Nationals public address announcer to the crowd after the third inning during a salute to veterans.
Joining us this evening. We are joined by the President and First Lady of the United States.
And yesterday, President Trump was in Chicago addressing the annual conference of the International Association of Chiefs of Police. Trump criticized the city's crime rate and its policies protecting undocumented immigrants. Trump wasted little time blaming those issues on the Chicago Superintendent of Police, Eddie Johnson, who boycotted the event. Trump talked about Johnson's absence at the event. Here's Johnson's response to President Trump.
But there is one person that's not here today. We're in Chicago. I said, where is he? I want to talk to him. In fact, more than anyone else, this person should be here because maybe he could learn something. And that's the Superintendent of Chicago Police, Eddie Johnson.
Some people support him, and that's their own opinion. But I can tell you there's a lot of people that don't, So I'm not going to get into that back and forth, who supports who and all that, because my job is to keep this city safe. And that's just about, because I will tell you all this. After today, I'm not going to even comment on this anymore, because we have bigger challenges in this city than to be going back and forth, about stuff like this. So all I'll say is, look, I've been a cop for 31 years. I've been a superintendent for almost 4 years. I've dedicated my life to keeping this city safe.
Chicago students will miss school for a 9th day as the teachers' union strike continues. The Chicago Teachers Union demands better wages, smaller class sizes, and more support staff. On Monday, both the Vice President of Chicago Teachers Union and Chicago Mayor spoke on the ongoing negotiations.
We cannot continue to dither, to make excuses, to pass the buck. We have a mayor that controls every single thing in this city: housing, schools, public safety, everything. And $38 million is what is separating our schools from beginning on Monday. That is no longer just something that sounds ridiculous. It is a failure.
I think the ball is decidedly in the CTU's court. Yeah. We have met them and answered every single issue that they brought forward, and I think Dr. Jackson went through that in detail. Yeah. So our expectation, given that they have articulated a set of things that they want, that we have met them with it, we've put specific language in the contract, our expectation is that they should say yes.
A Chicago Public Schools official said on Monday evening that the strike will continue and classes are canceled again Tuesday as big issues remained unresolved in contract negotiations.
Next on State of Events, San Francisco State's Creative Arts Building had a huge construction milestone last week. Students and faculty were on hand for this ceremony. And then,
a San Francisco State student has recently passed away. Find out more details on this tragic event next on State of Events.
When it's time to choose healthcare for your teen, you want the best. When it's time for your teen's questions to be answered, you want a professional you can trust. At Valencia Health Services, your time is well spent. We provide professional, quality healthcare. Valencia Health Services, dedicating quality time to professional healthcare because your teen's health is our first priority. Valencia Health Services, quality time because we care.
Welcome back to State of Events.
My co-anchor, Natasha Cassino, has more on a major construction milestone on San Francisco State's newest building, the Liberal and Creative Arts Center.
I'm Natasha Cassino for State of Events, and I'm here right in front of the new Liberal and Creative Arts building, where the topping off ceremony is about to begin. Students and faculty will have the opportunity to have their signatures on a beam that will become a permanent part of the building. This is a milestone for San Francisco State University, as this is the placement of the final steel beam. Those in attendance included President Lynn Mahoney and Dean Harris. Students are very excited to have a state-of-the-art building on campus.
I am very excited for the new facilities that they're going to be bringing to students and all the new technology. It seems like it's going to be a pretty sweet deal.
But for some, it's bittersweet.
Unfortunately, I think it might be done when I graduate, but I'm still excited to be a part of it.
The contractors have been working very diligently on the project. This state-of-the-art building will bring students the next generation of innovation and excellence in media arts. It is scheduled to open for classes in the spring of 2021. In San Francisco, I'm Natasha Cassino for State of Events.
The Cesar Chavez Plaza is a hub of campus activity. I took some time to talk to some of the groups who set up tables outside.
I'm here on top of the Cesar Chavez building, which is one of the most popular places on the San Francisco State campus. All throughout the day, students go in and out, doing their shopping, eating, studying, and Tuesday through Thursdays, there are tables outside with different organizations promoting different events.
So we're with Alpha Kappa Psi, professional business fraternity on campus. We are hosting a big concert on November 15th, and we have Manila Killer coming out. All the proceeds and all the profit is all going to the Wildlife Conservation Network, and it's a great thing to give back to the community, go fundraise, and give back to wildlife.
Well, we're celebrating Breast Cancer Awareness Month with a bra pong, and we just have like ribbons for everyone to be able to put on themselves.
All right, we're gonna play some bra pong here.
So you're just gonna get it, and you're gonna try to shoot inside the. Oh, you
Oh,
kind of got it.
does
yeah.
that count?
Yeah, that counts.
That counts. All right. Kobe. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much for showing us this and letting me play.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month is coming to an end. State of Events correspondent Jennifer Rios takes a closer look at the impact this aggressive disease has on men and women across the United States, and how the battle against breast cancer does not end here.
Each year, we see a huge number of cases of breast cancer. In the United States alone, we see 245,000 diagnosed in women and another 2,200 cases that affect men, where the 5-year survival rate is projected at an overall 90%, though more than 40,000 breast cancer patients die each year.
The question is, how do we increase what we're doing for the patients where our current therapies are not, yet as effective as we would like?
Oncologist Amelia Zelnak says a big focus on the clinical trials has been on patients that have advanced stage breast cancer. Research suggests that the healthcare professionals must look towards the future of diagnosing and treating breast cancer over the next several years. If there is a selective new drugs to treat these conditions, then there is hope to fight this disease.
Looking at, can we use those same drugs along with hormone therapy for early stage disease so that more women never develop metastatic disease?
Zelnik hopes there is more attention brought to this medical outlier in the future.
So many of our early stage breast cancer patients have an outstanding prognosis. And so much of where our focus needs to shift is not just on treatments, but on survivorship.
Reporting in San Francisco, I'm Jennifer Rios for State of Events.
Last Friday, San Francisco State President Lynn Mahoney sent out a tragic email to notify students and faculty of an incident that left one student fatally shot Thursday afternoon. The incident took place off campus and a person of interest has been detained. President Mahoney wrote, quote, "This is a tragic loss for the San Francisco State University community. The tragic and untimely death of a student takes a particularly deep emotional toll," end quote.
Next on State of Events and Entertainment, find out more details about Kanye West's new album, and then
in sports, find out how the 49ers remained undefeated at home at Levi Stadium against the Carolina Panthers next on State of Events.
Daddy, what is sustainability?
Sustainability?
Yeah, sustainability.
Well, it's composting.
Cool.
It's conserving water.
What about clothes?
You can reuse clothes too. Are you ready for school?
Almost done.
Welcome back to State of Events.
Jennifer Rios has the latest in entertainment news. Take it away, Jennifer.
Thanks, guys. A lot going on in the world of entertainment, including Kanye's new album and Kurt Cobain auction. But first, on to the American Music Awards. The nominations for the 2019 American Music Awards have arrived. Rapper Post Malone leads the list of nominations with 7 nominations, followed by Ariana Grande, who has 6 nominations. Both artists are in competition for Artist of the Year. First-time nominee Billie Eilish has 6 nominations, and she is nominated for New Artist of the Year. The award show will be on November 24th at 5 p.m. on NBC. To see the full list of nominees to vote, visit the website themas.com. Kanye West's new album, Jesus is King, is finally here. The very much anticipated album dropped October 25th and trended on social media after Kanye tweeted a picture over the album cover. Fans praised Kanye's fusion of gospel and hip-hop in the new album. Fans on social media also enjoyed quoting lyrics from his song, Closed on Sunday. The popular lyrics are closed on Sunday, you my Chick-fil-A. For the first past year, Kanye has hosted Sunday service and various pop-up locations in the States. Jesus is the King is Kanye's 9th studio album and features Ty Dolla $ign, Clips, Sunday Service Choir, and Kenny G. Kurt Cobain's iconic green cardigan is off the market. The Nirvana frontman's cardigan was auctioned off for a whooping $334,000. It is the most expensive sweater ever sold at an auction. Kurt Cobain wore the olive green cardigan during the filming of MTV Unplugged in 1993. Since then, the mohair cardigan remained unwashed and includes 30 years of stains and cigarette burns. The lucky owner of the cardigan is sure to smell like Teen Spirit. Lil Nas X is known to flex his favorite things. He's got the horses in the back, a cowboy hat from Gucci, and Wrangler on his booty. He can now add Diamond Certified single to his list. The Recording Industry Association of America declared Old Town Road as Diamond Certified single last week. A diamond single means the single sold 10 million units worth of sales and streaming. Old Town Road is the fastest single in history to reach this record-breaking milestone. The song also broke records in the music charts. It was the longest charting song at #1 for 19 weeks. The previous longest charting song was One Sweet Day by Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men at 16 weeks. Halloween is right around the corner and there's already questionable costumes out there. Let's take a look at the most interesting costumes of 2019 from the website yandy.com. This mummy is ready for Halloween and Fashion Week with her Yeezy Season 7 inspired outfit. Satisfy your craving this Halloween and be a delicious and rare chicken sandwich. Don't worry, vegans and vegetarians, there's an option for you too. Yum plant-based. Yandy.com also has costumes for men too. Ladies, don't be fooled. This lion isn't cowardly. He's courageous. Why else would he be wearing this? Nothing says Halloween like a grown man wearing a Minion costume at a party. No matter what costume you wear this Halloween, be sure to have fun and be safe. And that's all I have for today's entertainment roundup. Back to you guys at the desk.
So, Graham, what do you think about Kanye's new album?
I would say it wasn't his Kanye best. In sports, Alondra Vega is here to tell us about what happened with campus sports and what happened with the 49ers and the Raiders over the weekend. Alondra?
Thanks, Graham. We begin as usual with our campus sports. It was an up and down weekend for the men's soccer team after beating number 2 ranked Cal State San Bernardino 2-1. They lost to Cal Poly Pomona 7-1 on Sunday. They moved to 6-3 in conference play. The women's soccer team's woes continue as they lose 1-0 to Cal State San Bernardino on Friday and 4-0 to Cal Poly Pomona on Sunday. They now move to 0-9 in conference play this season. The women's volleyball team's 3-game winning streak came to an end on Friday as they lost to Cal Poly Pomona in straight sets. On Sunday, they face off against number 1 ranked Cal State San Bernardino and lost in 3 sets as well. They are now 6-5 in the conference and are scheduled to play at Sonoma State tomorrow. Soccer is set to resume Saturday as both teams are scheduled to take on Humboldt State. In the NBA, the Warriors got their first win of the season last night. Steph Curry scored 26 and had 11 assists, had a triple-double, and the Dubs had 6 players score in double figures as they defeated the injury-stricken winless Pelicans. Green hit a layup with just over 5 minutes left to put the Warriors up 128-99 before the Pelicans went on a run that was too little, too late, that had the blowout loss seem closer than it was. Warriors take on the Suns at Chase Center tomorrow night. The 49ers had one of their most impressive wins of the season Sunday against the Carolina Panthers. Tevin Coleman led the team with 4 touchdowns in a 51-13 rout. The scoring came early and often as Carolina had only 3 points at halftime, while the 49ers already had 27. Panthers quarterback Kyle Allen came into the game having thrown no interceptions all season, but the Niners defense ended that streak by forcing 3. Nick Bosa had 3 sacks as well as an interception. The 49ers improved to 7-0 with their highest scoring game in 26 years. Their next game is on Thursday against the Cardinals. The Raiders lost to the Houston Texans by a field goal on Sunday. Although the Raiders lead for the majority of the game, Darren Fells caught a 9-yard touchdown pass from Deshaun Watson with just under 6.5 minutes left in the game. After he was nearly sacked and kicked in the face, the Raiders following a drive with a punt as they failed to get close enough to try for a game-tying field goal. The Raiders finally return to the Coliseum next week after a 7-week absence. They will host the Lions on Sunday. The World Series continues tonight. The series moves back to Houston as the Astros won all 3 games in Washington, have now pushed the Nationals to the brink of elimination. The Nats won the first 2 games of the series in Houston. Neither team has won at home so far in the series, and the Nationals will look to keep it that way, as they would have to win both of the final games in Houston to take home the World Series trophy. First pitch is at 5:07 tonight. That does it for the sports wrap-up. The Warriors host the Suns tomorrow, and the 49ers are in Arizona for Thursday Night Football this week. Back to you at the desk.
That's all we have for this edition of State of Events. To stay up to date with all the news around San Francisco State, follow us on Twitter at state_of_events and check out our KSFS YouTube channel. For State of Events, I'm Natasha Casino.
And I'm Graham Muckenfoos. Be safe out there, Bay Area, and stay golden, Gators.